All right, everybody. My name is J.O. I'm the author of Maximize Your Medicare. The 2019 edition of Maximize Your Medicare is available online. It's available in ebook and paperback format. You can find me quoted here most recently in the USA Today in the money section. Thank you to Bob Powell of the USA Today and thestreet.com. There's the website for the book. You can see it's available pretty much everywhere. Special note here, which is please go to your local library. Overdrive, the dominant provider. It's the technology platform that has library ebook borrowing and lending systems. It is available there. You can request your library to purchase it for the library's collection. Special deal here. I'm not sure why not enough people are taking advantage of this. Kobo.com, which is actually the engine behind Walmart's ebook platform, gives you $5 off for your first purchase. So if you've never bought an ebook from Walmart or Kobo, you can get $5 off your first purchase, making the book 99 cents, less than $1. These are the table of contents to the book. We're going to be talking about Medigap today, about Plan N versus plans F and G, and we will get to it quickly. The net proceeds to the book are going to a charity, Great Humanity Healthcare Foundation. You can see the website there, greathumanityhf.org. Very simple. Young family, $10,000 deductible. There's no community, no location unaffected by this. There's some stuff about me. So in addition to being the author of the book, I am a licensed person, certified financial planner, all sorts of rules and regulations. That is why I always go to this, which is this official set of disclaimers, meaning that today's going to be accurate. That all said, it's not financial advice. Can never be financial advice. None of the YouTube videos that I'm actually sharing with you constitute financial advice. They're not the offer of any interest in any financial contract, including insurance. Not sure why my counterparts are not, also mentioning this to you. Straight into Medigap. This is the standardized plan. This is the standardized grid, if you will. What we're going to be focusing in on is on the differences between plans F, G here. F star just means that there is high deductible F. That's beyond the scope of today. There's Plan N, which is here. So you can see that Plan F is clear. Generally speaking, higher premiums. There's no Part B deductible. In other words, you can see it right here. Part B deductible is covered by Plan F. It's also covered by Plan C. Both are going away for new applicants beginning on January 1st, 2020. That means there are no out-of-pocket expenses for medical services. Now, that also means that the exact form has to be agreed upon by the CMS, meaning the Medicare system. They must be Medicare approved. The beauty, of course, of Medigap, generally speaking, is there's no network and it's standardized, meaning that they're literally, if they accept the federally issued Medicare card, they'll accept your carrier. It could be Tom and Dick's insurance company, and it could be one of the largest carriers in the land. They're going to accept the Medigap plan. Here are some of the things that are important because of it's standardized, and because it's standardized and something which is called guaranteed renewable. That has two very important implications. One, which is no way for the carrier to change the language. In other words, the terms and conditions of the coverage over time, they're not going to look kind of the same. They must be the same, period. You are signing financial contract with a financial counterparty, being the insurance carrier. There's no leeway to change the contract. The only party that can cancel is you, meaning that basically as long as you pay premiums, that contract continues. You don't have to do anything other than make payment. In that sense, Plan G is also similarly clear, although there are going to be some subtle points. In fact, you can see another video where I compare Plan F and G and call it something convenience tax. And the main difference is right here. You are responsible for the Part B deductible, $185 in 2019. You can see today's updated. After the Part B deductible is met, then it's identical, meaning no out-of-pocket expenses for medical services. Same thing here. Once you've met 185, the Part B deductible, then your out-of-pocket expenses are then zero. That's why there's no concept of out-of-pocket annual maximum. There is none. Well, I mean, technically there is 185. Okay, and again, these things are just repeats of what existed here on Plan F. So now the rest of the guts of this video, this short video here, are about Plan N. Plan N is just not as clear. So on the positive side is there's no doubt that the premiums are lower. And you can see that at the carrier. Meaning, if you just kept Tom and Harry's, what did I call it, Tom and Dick? Tom and Harry's insurance company, right? And they offered both Plan G and Plan N. Plan N will be lower. There's no doubt about that. Okay? The question is cost and trade-off. Because under Plan N, like Plan G, you are responsible for the Part B deductible. You can see it here. Plan G, Plan N are both blank, meaning that you have to pay. There are other costs here, up to $50, $20 every office visit, $50 for specialists. There's emergency room copay in here. So now the real guts is here. The Plan N is not clear, not for me due to the fact of office visit. So let's just say you go to the doctor twice a year. Okay, so the doctor can charge you $0. The doctor can charge you $20. So now it's $40 a year divided by 12, $3 and change. Okay, that explains some of the difference. The rest of the difference is really here, the Part B excess charge, and you can see it. What I'm just doing is like when you shop for a used car or you shop for a car. One has in-dash GPS, one doesn't. And let's say those are the only differences. You're then comparing the price here on the differential and whether or not you value the in-dash GPS. Okay, so in the same way, right here is the only other remaining difference, which is right here. In here, Plan F, Plan G cover the excess charge. Plan N does not. I see and hear on the internet and amongst, other producers, other licensed people that people are like Plan N. And I'm just going to point out the following. So, first of all, in some states, this doesn't exist at all. Let's take Minnesota. Okay, that's one of the states. There's no such thing as a Part B excess charge. The doctor's not allowed. In the other locations, however, it is allowed by law. It is up to 15%. The thing here is that if the doctor or outpatient provider of services, right, Part B services, charge more than the Medicare approved amount, they can charge up to 15% more, 1.5. You are responsible for that entire overage. And I think the main thing that people don't point out is that you are not in control here. You are not in control. You don't get to decide whether or not the doctor charges the 15%. That doesn't make the doctor evil. We will get to that very shortly. Okay? So I wrote Maximize Your Medicare really not as a finger-pointing exercise saying, that party's to blame or this party's to blame. And that and this you can just fill in the blank, right? It could be hospital, doctor, x-ray clinic, pharmaceutical, insurance company, insurance broker. It could be anything. But the key thing here, what I'm trying to do is trying to defang it. In other words, take out the teeth of the stuff that doesn't make sense so that you can focus on the things that you are under your control. Some of the stuff that is not under your control, however, is clear, which is you're not in control of the healthcare provider. You're not in control of the decisions made by the CMS. And one of those decisions that's made is the rate at which it's going to compensate doctors for services, or x-rays for x-ray clinic for services, blood clinic for some test. So now the way I put it to people in a practical sense is this. And in last year, at the end of last year, I called this person Farmer Fred. Somebody says, well, are you insulting farmers? Actually, that's the furthest thing from the truth, meaning that Farmer Fred, there's nothing that I would be able to teach Farmer Fred about everyday common sense. He's seen it all, right? So he understands that the world can change. 1.7 billion people across the planet just went from fifth world to first world within, a decade and a half? And that affected every corn farmer in the country. So they've dealt with lots of moving stuff, but now let's just put yourself in their shoes. And the way that I say it in public is, let's pretend your grandchild is a newly educated, newly graduated physician. Now this number, $120,000 in debt, is kind of a published number on the medical school debt, not including the undergraduate school debt. You can't get a mortgage. There are certain things. There's a certain type of mortgage called physician's mortgage. In other words, if you go to your bank and try to borrow for a house, they ask you for your job description. If you wrote down the financial facts for person X and you did not have physician as job description, you'd have a big problem borrowing to get your primary residence. Okay? And you can see here this graph, somebody had plotted what the true cost of being a physician. Now, I think this is low. And the reason I think it's low is that you've presumed entirely that the probability of success is 100%. I can still see the names. I can still see the names and faces of my classmates in Ann Arbor, ones who aspired to be doctors just to enter into organic chemistry, and for that aspiration to change within a few weeks, really. So the reality is what would you tell your grandchild who's carrying this financial burden, who has accepted this risk, who could have been doing something else? Well, what would you do? Because on top of that is the payer, right? It's not as if the federal government isn't facing its own set of pressures. It is. And these things here are definitely in the category of things that you cannot change, right? There's the demographic reality. And there's the number, 59 million. 59 to 60 million. We're talking about a difference of 1 million. You get an idea of the size and scope. That's the number of people that are carrying the Medicare card. 10,000 people a day turn 65. The baby boomers are here, and they're here now. There's fiscal reality. There are going to be tough choices. Luckily, we've had low interest rates. And guess what? The reason I have this updated, we have to throw this stuff that I put in red. We haven't even begun the national debate on Medicare for all, Medicare for more, whatever you want to call this, right? That is going to be front and center in the conversation over the next 2 years. That's very, very safe to say. You already have that now. And the point is that, there are two pots of money here. There's Social Security, there's the Medicare Trust Fund. Given all of this, and add in this language in red, where is the money going to come from? Someone's going to have to explain to us, including the voting population, how are you going to pay? So you can see that the CMS has difficult choices. The doctor has huge debt. It's entirely rational to be charging this. So while I understand that there's a price difference between these two plans, G and N, we need to consider not the fact that this is insurance and the fact that later you can have underwriting rules. You cannot, in most locations, cannot just randomly switch across these columns just because you feel like it. Oh, I feel healthy, I'll just take this cheapest plan. K. Right? You cannot do that. So the question is it worth it? And that, of course, I'm Captain Obvious. Call me Captain Obvious. That's fine. It's up to you. That's your choice. And what I tell persons is, look, for some persons, this extra money, and I put it at $10 a month, and that's too low. Okay, $15 to $20 a month. It's worth the risk. In other words, you want to save the $15. But then my counterpoint, and especially new, over time, over the last years, if this is really the case for you, why are we not considering Medicare Advantage? Because there are many Medicare Advantage plans at $0 a month. So instead of, let's just call Plan N $95, and let's call Plan G $115, $110, okay? And those are real numbers. That's kind of a generically good set of numbers to consider. So yes, you save $15 a month, but if that's making the difference between changing G to N for you, because let's say you live on a fixed income and you're trying to save that money, to which you're entitled. That's entirely your prerogative. In which case, my question is then, and it is just an open question, which is, why are we not considering Medicare Advantage where we're much lower? 0, 50, 60. That is entirely possible in your location. Right? In most states in the country, you're talking about 30 plans plus, somewhere in that range. And I'm using these figures as kind of standards because we have clients around the country. And so I'm giving you a feel for what the world looks like, because maybe you're only looking at your own situation. You hadn't necessarily known these facts. For some of you, this is giving up this box is not a good idea. And who are you? Well, here's your example here. You have a serious pre-existing condition. Meaning, and by serious, that doesn't mean that other persons don't have it. Let's just call it insulin-dependent diabetic. Okay? There's certain things that cannot be avoided. You know this, right? You have to have eye exams. You have to have foot cleaning. You have to have multiple blood exams. Okay? Maybe there are complications. So you keep going to get Part B services. You know who you are. I'm not here to say, okay, you've done right or wrong. Maybe this is completely, determined by genetics, which is totally fine. Those are the cards dealt. But what it does introduce is the idea is, look, the more time you have these charges, the more chances there are to have the excess charge. Now this $15 doesn't seem, not as great. There are other persons here, which is, and I'm just going to mention this here at the end, which is that, let's just say, for example, you have no one there to help explain bills to you. You detest bills, right? You don't want to see little extra line items. Why am I being nickel and dime for $2 to $3, $10, $15, and then you get $100,000 in service, and now all of a sudden the excess charge is $15,000. How do you figure this out? No one's there to help you. No one's there to help pay the bills. So my main point here is that when you compare F and G, it is a monetary matter. It's always about money. It's always about the money. Of course it is. It's to evaluate whether or not the price differential is worth this set of stuff. Meaning that if you really want to be aggressive about saving money, then there's a whole slew of other alternatives. Have we considered all of them as well? Now, the reality is that on YouTube, you find the overwhelming majority of videos are talking about Medigap. I'm going to have some special comments about why that is, but I'm going to have to go behind the curtain in order to describe, why that is the case. And behind the curtain is GH2 Unfiltered, which is a subscription service. This is what you get. You get the book. So it's readable on your computer screen, that by itself. There are going to be private information on carriers. So you can understand that I had disclaimers at the beginning, and now you know why they exist. You don't hear me naming the name of a carrier. It's intentional, right? We have affiliations with the largest carriers in the country on a nationwide basis. Okay. That said, I don't want to be taking away from the message that it's still most important for you to get the proper information. That doesn't mean that every carrier is equal. Doesn't. Medicare, its grace, its beauty, its elegance is the fact that the language. You may think that is very complicated, right? But this language here, these definitions, everyone agrees on them. Why? The federal government has defined them for us. Period. Now, we may not like it, but those definitions are known. They're accepted. Every carrier uses them, and they have to follow them because they get approval. The same cannot be said over here. The language, the terminology, etc., not necessarily standardized. And by that, I mean also the communication by which things are being described to you. Right? For Social Security, those definitions, are generally, known. Full retirement age. Of course, this is a defined number by the federal government. However, the advice you're getting is all over the place. Delayed credits. People call it 8%. It's not actually 8%, for example. For that, there's this website where you're getting a deep dive on these topics. Medicare, the shallow end of the pool, where everything, it's the vital starting point. It's why we start here at Medicare. And here's your example here. This is just a graphic of, a little of a pamphlet where the carriers are named, what some of the ins and outs are. Not every carrier in the country, because if we don't have something outstanding to say, we stay silent, right? We want to be neutral. But in certain instances, there can be reasons to choose carrier 1, plan 1 over carrier 2, plan 2. Market is so competitive that it stops being about money, but other things on the edge. We're examining the edge. That's on GH2 Unfiltered. That's the website there. You were given the first website for the MaximizeYourMedicare.com. That was the book's website. This is the professional services website. Please subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends. Very important part about Medicare. Very important thing about health insurance, generally speaking. Health insurance, not like your knowledge about Social Security. If your neighbor knows more about Social Security, the system is unaffected. If your neighbor understands Medicare and health insurance markets and how it works, everyone is affected. That makes it very different. So please do your part. I'll do mine. Share it with everyone that you know. And this is a good way. YouTube and the free newsletter are good ways to do so in an unintrusive way. I'm Jay. Hope you've enjoyed today. Talk with you next time.